All right. Didn't burn the food. But yes, back to the song. All right, where was I? Oh yes, getting into that second piece. So I'll start from the top and then get down. We got through this first piece. Gonna get back into moving on with this with the rest of it. Lyrics go: say you love me with a passion. Say you love me in your actions, with your inner soul and spirit. That's what God's for. Just say it, I'll believe it. Doesn't hurt less that way. Can't deny you, so that's okay. I was too much. No, yes, oh, question mark. I wasn't there enough. Yes, I had you feel so great. I had you feel what I felt, and it made your heart melt. Yeah, made you feel so great, but it made life feel too real to take. Take by the hand, by the bars. I love you for all of your flaws and your scars. But that's what made you doubt me from the start. And stopping there. I talked about everything above, but after where I get to talk about made you feel so great, made life too real to take, right? Where that's a reference to you have to kind of take life by the hands. You got to take it by the bars and rattle it. You can't take life for granted. You can't do all those things. You, excuse me. You have to do something about your life, with your life, in your life. And saying how this is a more romantic and like a inner guilt song about why she's not with her partner anymore, or the relationship with her partner just isn't like it once used to be, or what everything she was hoping it was cracked up to be. It's her own fault. It's she's recognizing the part she played in this, but it is a bit of both here, right? So she's acknowledging it. She's saying she loves him for all his flaws and his faults and his scars. I mean, I just don't. Those aren't downsides to you. Those are things I love. I understand that I probably was immaturely, improperly, or just doing something wrong that made you feel insecure instead of allowing you to feel the value in those faults and those flaws and those scars that made you or loved by me. I may have not been going about those the proper way, but I'm acknowledging it. I do like it. I do love it. But a little late, right? So she's now singing it in this song how she can't help but really feel this way, right? But that's what made you doubt me from the start. That's where she acknowledges, like, hey, I do love you for all your flaws and scars, and I do. But what I couldn't really hear, have articulated in the lyrics very easily without ad libs, at least, is the fact that she was kind of hiding her own, right? Like she loves him, her partner, whoever it is, for their faults and their scars, but it sounds like too good to be true. And either or, like she's also like too good to be true. So either you have faults and scars you're not sharing with me, meaning you probably don't really even trust me as much as you say that you do, that you don't really like me for me, while hiding yourself, or one way or another. So she says here, I really actually do love you for all of the things that you are insecure about and all these other things, but I it doesn't hurt me any less that we can't be together because of my own faults and my own flaws here in this relationship, but I can't deny you and that's okay. Right? So that's what kind of made you my partner, my love, my end all be all. End up freaking doubting me and my affection and my trust in you because of my faults and my flaws and scars. It's like I love you for all of yours, but all of your faults, all your insecurities projected on me, and all my faults and insecurities that actually did things that are really, ruin it from the jump. From the jump, it wasn't really perfect as either one of us could have hoped, right? Da 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 da. Never again, I can't cry. I can't lie. Never again, sleep at night. I love you. Oh, why, wise is never again be so, oh no, feel so low, be coolio, messing around with your Julio. So, the tail end of that was just the fact that for this particular part, the beat itself sounded perfect for a little jab, 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 jab rhyme scheme. But for the interlude transition to the next piece and back into the chorus, I didn't want to give up. And I wanted to also, again, put the title of the song in there. Never again. Never again. So I had to say never again, jab, never again, jab, never again, jab. But again, I liked the fact that this was a perfect rhyme scheme piece, tune. So I didn't want to give up on making these things rhyme. So in the first part, it was where I can't cry, I can't lie, sleep at night. The Y's, the U's, and then in the very last half, it was the O, that O sound. So, oh no, low, coolio, Julio. So I eventually, I figured out a bunch of words, and then introduced them into the particular verse, and then I just had to work my way backwards and making them make sense, to be honest with you. If I'm fully honest, I found the rhyme words, and then I forced them to make sense according to the narrative as a bit of that jabbing texture to go with the dut rhyme scheme here, right? So never again, I can't cry, I can't lie. Never again, sleep at night. I love you, oh why is never again, so, oh no, so low, coolio, messing around with your Julio. Back to the chorus. Say you love me with a passion. Say you love me in your actions. With your inner soul and spirit. That's what God's for. Just say it, I'll believe it. And then this next piece right here, before we get into the ending piece, this next piece coming out of that second chorus, I really had getting a bit deeper into this aspect of her own regret and remorse without actually ever saying what happened. Because in the song, I felt like to actually put a name to a particular thing that happened would be what transfers the song from being a little lighthearted and remorseful and regretful to being guilt-ridden beyond repair. Because especially, let alone if anyone actually emotionally is able to connect with the thing she's saying, if they're in also on top of that a similar situation, they'll just be like shattered and lose all hope. And I'm not trying to do that. I already knew that she didn't want a too hearty song. So let's keep it light. Let's keep it reasonable, right? And that's what I did. So going into the second verse off that chorus, just say it, I'll believe it, goes into the next portion of the song right here where she says, I want you to be happy, and I want you to be lovely, but with me. I want you, baby, to stay, but this ugly me, like all my flaws, all my sins, all my flaws and scars and faults and everything, the fault between our stars is getting in the way. This ugly me has been aggravating, it's been agitating, and pulling out the worst of me. Because all I need is you with me, despite all my faults, all my scars, and all my big F-ups. Did all I can to love you, to show you everything right. Guess it didn't feel right, hiding my faults out of sight. where that drives home back into the final line piece of the first portion, as where it says, but that's what made you doubt me from the start. So each one of these effectively verses here is following the exact same scheme of her mentality is up here and it's slowly returning to this very same spot right here of that's the whole reason why. That's the whole reason why. I'm talking about all this, but that's the reason why. So she goes about where she is right now and everything and reversing to, but that's the reason why. And she starts out this other half of how she wants her partner to be happy and lovely. She wants the best for them, but she wants the best for you to be still be for you with me. Right? And I did all this, I did all that, I did this, but I guess that's the whole reason why. Right? So it's doing the whole A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, A through Z in a whole A and B conversation. Right? So I manufactured it to still get from point A to point B real fast. If you're not listening to the song, you can still kind of catch the beginning of the verse, and as long as you catch that final end of the verse, it's like you can get the whole aspect of the song, right? But for people who are more attention to detail and want to hear the story about it, you can hear everything but what actually happened from the beginning of the verse, all them details and lore in between it, and then the end of the verse. No difference, if being fully honest. She wants you to be happy and lovely, but with me, I guess it didn't feel right hiding my faults out of sight. Same difference with the first half. It doesn't hurt less that way. Can't deny you, that's okay. I was too much. I wasn't there enough. That's it. Jump down to that last part of the first verse. But that's what made you doubt me from the start. I was too much, and I wasn't there enough. But that's what made you doubt me from the start. And then the second one, I want you to be happy and lovely, but with me, so please stay. But I guess it didn't feel right hiding my faults out of sight, hiding all those problems that I should have trusted you with, right? So there's still that twisting and turning all throughout, but there are A and B spread out through X, Y, and Z somewhere at the center there. That convoluted, right? Do. Don't spill. Again, getting back to it, here's the second half going into the closeout where I don't know the best word for it, where the instrumental, the beat itself gets into a bit of a rift. Probably not the best word for that. Probably a better articulated word. But it goes from that second verse into a bit of a rift. And then there's a genuine instrumental I chose to leave in there before going back to the chorus when the bass comes back in, and then going out into the outro and the finishing of the song, right? So at 2 minutes and 8 seconds, we get to this little rift. We have a instrumental break, go back into the chorus with that beat drop, and close out the rest of the song with the fading of music and the outro, right? 2 minutes, 8 seconds is where we go back into this aspect of how much never again is prevalent. So, never again will I want to know, will I want to go, never again will I be proud, dare to be wowed, never again still, never again fall, never again at all. So from 2 minutes, 8 seconds to the 2 minute, 33 second mark, you just hear that. Like nice, slow, melodically, that's being sung with so much passion. Like, never again will I be proud, I be wowed, I, where this aspect of the song kind of makes it feel selfish, but it wasn't necessarily intended to be selfish. She's just trying to voice and best articulate herself in ways that she wasn't prior to getting to this point, where she's like, despite all that being the case, and that's the reason why it happened, right? What will she do moving forward? She's finally coming to this step in the 8 stages of grief and moving on, where she's finally like, guess I'll just do this. She's planning out her future and what she'll do later on, right? Never again will I want to know. I won't want to know all that extra. I won't want to go through all this. I promise I'll humble myself and I won't be proud for the next person I fall in love with. I will dare I won't dare to be wowed, or maybe I will dare to be wowed by things I wasn't impressed with or saw value in before. Right? Never again, never again, never again, never again. Just driving home, never again, that is the title. The title of the song is Never, Never, Never Again. Right? And then I have that 17-second interlude for the musical instrumental piece, for the bass, giving the bass a bit more time to come back in. Also in that interlude, you could also have like a male voice, kind of like the prison jail phone inclusion in there, like, hey, like some phone call, something. But it's mostly supposed to be for the music, but I left the option open. Like, if you wanted to put like this be the point where you get that little feature duet of the masculine voice in there, just like saying a little something, or even revealing what actually happened that dropped the bomb on the relationship and tore them eternally apart, go ahead for it, right? But after that little 17 seconds of narration piece, or musical that instrumental break before the beat drop, right after that at 2 minutes and 50 seconds, that's where we get back into the actual final chorus and the rest of the song. Right, final chorus: say you love me with a passion, say you love me in your actions, with your whole heart and inner spirit. See the devil next to me? You hear him, you'd believe him, yeah. And if you couldn't tell, that little piece there is where I decided to include my little transition from stagnant chorus. The chorus did in fact change from 1, 2, and 3, but this was the most stark difference between the chorus in 1, 2, and 3. Instead of talking about the Lord and the God, see that devil next to me? If you heard him, you'd believe him. Okay? Right? Going on. 3 minutes, 2 seconds. Doesn't hurt less that way. Just can't deny you, so it's okay. And this final piece here is where I want the female artist to really drive her soul out and scream and sing it at the top of her lungs with all that passion and soul, for real, because she's now at this point where she's just like a cappella, like genuinely screaming, because see the devil next to me? She's going crazy, right? Crazy for love. See the devil next to me? If you heard him, you'd believe him. It's over. It's not happening. It's not going to be possible. But I love you. I genuinely do. Right? So it doesn't hurt less that way. Can't deny you. It's okay. Never open up my heart, where you can kind of say it's like the continuation of the interlude I had before, where never again, never again, never again. She's now going back into the never again aspect of that mentality and what she's going to probably be doing in the future, where she's just giving up and she's furthering this grief and this mentality of hopelessness and regret and remorse that she's going through. She's articulating it through the song. Never open up my heart. I'll never open up my arms. I'll never sing. Never for you. Never muse. Never art. Never start. Never bruise. I'll never lose. And it's just, again, as the song's beat and instrumental is dying out, she's reaching a crescendo that is eventually going to just get muted and cut off because there's no more music, no more beat to go along with it, where she's getting hyped up and ramped up and to talking about all these things she's never going to be doing anymore because of how this relationship ended. It's just, poor unfortunate soul. What a poor unfortunate soul you are, right? Because to a certain point, a whole lot of people end up cutting it short. It's like, okay, chill, please, please, right? But here for her in particular, it's eventually going to get cut up. So I'm going to read part at 3 minutes, 2 seconds. Doesn't hurt less that way, can't deny you. So it's okay. It's whatever. Never open up my heart, never open up my arms, never sing, never for you, never muse, never art, I'll never start, never bruise, so I'll never lose. Never again, too much to choose, never again, too much to do, never again, too much for who, never again, never again, never again, never again, never again at all. Where those last two pieces, where she goes from right after where she says, never lose, it just goes into like a record repeat of never again, never again, never again, where that's the ad lib, and you just hear the true final verse being sung of too much to choose, too much to do, too much for who, where that is the actual singer singing through, and then the never again is like any backup singers or ad lib happening over her between her saying those two lines, so she has enough breath to breathe in and scream out these things. Too much to choose, too much to do, too much for who, right? She can say those lines with her whole heart and chest now as she's rapid fire spitting it off, because there's ad lib filling up that stopgap space the same way in your mind when you're thinking things. Something's constantly just in there, right? There's no breathing room when you get fixated on something in your mind, because it's constantly something taking up space or needing some thought. So you can't really get all the healing time and space you need, because it's just happening. There's something you're passionately thinking about, and then a little never again, passion, never again, passion, never again, action, never again, never again, no, right? But yes, that is Never Again by yours truly. I made it at 1:01 in the morning. But hey, that's just me, your Millenia Mailman here today, and that has been the rest of your Songbook Sunday. Alright? If you like, go ahead and comment down in the comment section down below, and share it if you think it's worth being talked about some more and deserves more exposure. Otherwise, have a good one. Peace.